Yeah, just I'll give a quick statement on the game. Just happy that we were able to come back and get a win. Down 14 with 12 minutes to go. So obviously great ending to the game. We started the game great, had a lull. They got a big lead, and then I think being able to win the way we just won this game, I can't remember us having a win like this throughout the season. So to be able to do this like this, down 14 in the second half, late in the second half, I think helps us again as we move into next week. And that's sort of going to be our focus here as we move forward to next week. We got to get ourselves, in the best place that we can be for Thursday. But the reason I bring all 5 seniors is because this is the night for them, and really happy that we're able to win this game for these 5 guys. I'm going to be brief because I'll let you then ask them questions. They have family here, so I want them to be able to get there. But for each of them, Mike's one of the most unselfish guys that I've ever coached. Been here 3 years. Didn't play much halfway through last year, and then started him. We were 2 seconds away from going to the NCAA tournament. He started 19 straight games at the end of the year. Keith came in for 1 year. Really difficult to come in for 1 year with a bunch of returning players. And I say this and I want it said for everyone to hear, where when Jalen was trying to decide, to come back, and I was trying to decide if he was going to be allowed back, Marquis came into my office unsolicited, without being asked, and was like, hey, if he can help the team, I want him back on the team. Incredibly selfless, because they play similar positions. They don't play similarly in terms of style, but they play similar positions. And to come in and make that statement when he has 1 year to play, I don't know many people that would have done that. Cli'Ron is, I heard them announce it, he leads the history of the school in field goal percentage in the history of Kent State basketball, 109 years. The history of the school, he's the all-time leader in field goal percentage, which again, unbelievable accomplishment. His last 3 years going into this year has played in the conference championship game, and we have a lot to get there for his 4th year, but we have an opportunity ahead of us. Jalen is off the court. He's had an unbelievable senior year, but his off the court growth has been, for me personally, probably as rewarding as a coach as anything that I've experienced in my 14 years as a head coach. I mean, I get choked up thinking about it, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but that has been as rewarding as anything I've accomplished as a head coach, is watching his growth as a leader in our program. And Vaughn, knock on wood, he stayed healthy, and knock on wood, he stays healthy over the next 4 days. He will, when he checks into the game against Western Michigan, he will then hold a record for the most games played in the history of Kent State basketball, breaking. Today he tied Rod Sherman, who I was an assistant coach for, and on Thursday he will hold a record that I think will stand, I assume will stand for many, many years to come, would be my guess, especially in this era. So like when he's 65 years old and a grandpa, he'll be able to come back to Kent and will be in a record book for having played more games than any basketball. When Kent's got 200 years of basketball, he'll be able to say, I've played more games than any player in the history of the program, along with all of the other accomplishments that he has, and his unselfishness and just his rock steadiness as a person and as a player is unmatched for what I've been. And he's obviously played here for me for 5 years. So I appreciate all of them, and I'm so happy that we won tonight for them to be able to win on their last home game. So I'll let you ask these guys questions because they have a lot of family. I don't know if you saw those T-shirts for Cli'Ron all over the place, but they have a lot of family here. So if you have questions for them, please ask away, and then you can ask me about the game or whatever you have after that.
Guys, what was the overall message? You guys are down 14 about halfway through that second half. When you come back on the court after that media timeout, what was the message you guys said to each other?
Defend. We gotta defend. We got a lot of time left. I think it was like 12, 11 minutes left on the clock. So we practice, we practiced a lot of those situations. We're down in late game, so we just had to execute and defend.
Cli'Ron, take me through that play where you have the go-ahead bucket.
What was that, the tip in?
The tip in, and then you also had that little floater. Kind of went off Jalen's hands and then went into your hands. Take me through what you saw in that last one.
The tip in, that's just going to the rim, rebounding, from just there at the right place at the right time. Same thing with Jalen's too, because it kind of just fell in my head perfectly. I really wasn't expecting it, but it kind of flowed perfectly into the shot, so it was just luck of the draw.
I did that on purpose.
This is for Vaughn, but anyone can answer too. When you were walking the floor while you were fighting back some tears, being here for 5 years, what does it mean walking off that floor for the last time?
Just like you said, I've been here for 5 years, long 5 years, through the good, the bad. I done seen everything at Kent State, and I loved it. It's a family atmosphere. I had my whole family here. I had about 50, 40 people here. So it just got a little emotional for me, and I'm usually not the crier or nothing like that, but it was just kind of hard knowing that it's a future ahead, but we're not done yet. We still got a lot of stuff to accomplish here, but it was just a little emotional. I was just glad to see everybody just look around the gym.
Jalen, that hot start, you go 3 for 3 from deep in the beginning, and then you kind of have a little run in the second half. How were you able to sort of recreate that magic with about 9-10 minutes to go?
My teammates do a good job of finding me when I'm open, and I ain't shy when it comes to shooting, so if I got a glimpse of daylight, I'm going to let it go, and oftentimes it's good for our team, hit shots, and we needed them tonight, so I was happy I was able to hit them.
Mike, what has this journey meant to you? I know you're obviously very close with Sin, who was one of the best players here, led you guys to the tournament a couple years ago. So what has it meant to you coming over from Duquesne now, and then just overall what this program's meant?
It's meant the world to me. Coach Sendy gave me this opportunity. I didn't really know what to expect. Obviously, I knew I would have my brother Sin here, but since the first day on campus, I felt like everyone welcomed me. Over these past 3 years, I really just came into my own here. It's been a real great family atmosphere, like Vaughn said, and I wouldn't have wanted to spend my last 3 years here or anywhere else.
And Keith, how satisfying is it for you to contribute so much to the winning culture here? You had a few big buckets. You've had a huge game. I remember the Central Michigan game. That was specifically your game, but a few big buckets in that second half. So, how much does this program mean to you?
I came here for one reason, and one reason only was to win. So, being able to contribute in any type of way I can for these guys that's been here it means everything to me, because basketball is my life. So, I want to reach the highest level I can anywhere I am.
Guys, you good to go?
All right, awesome. Thanks, though. See you guys on Sunday.
Appreciate you guys, seriously. Thank you guys. Thank you. I want the water.
Obviously, we've talked about, or the players and you've talked about how emotionally important this game was, but was there ever a point in time where you felt like maybe the emotions were getting a little too high, getting a little, maybe taking over the importance of the game on the court, and do you feel like your guys were able to rein them back in that second half?
Well, I think we started the game so well that, the last home game that we played was against Toledo, and it sort of was, everything went our way, right? So, and the way this game started, I think to some degree, you got to give Eastern Michigan all sorts of credit because they competed at a really high level, but we relaxed and and we had a great start. We're up, I think it was 20-9, and maybe even more than that because I see we were up 13. So we get up big early, and it's clear we relax and we get really stagnant, and they sort of, take the wind out of our sails, take the lead, and we become really, I don't know what the word is, but stagnant's probably the way I'd describe it. Like, not moving the basketball, forcing things, turning the ball over, sending them to the free throw line, not playing with much pace. And because of that, they took the lead and expanded the lead. We were fortunate that we were only down 5 at half. We started the second half okay, but then again, they went on a run, and we turned it over a couple times, and they got the lead up to 14. They're a good team. I mean, they've played very well down the stretch, and if you look at their last 10 games, they've played very, very well. So, we're fortunate that our energy level picked up. We playing at home helped us. I thought Jamal Sumlin in the second half, he was great defensively, and I thought a lot of his plays really helped us. Sion made a couple big baskets for us. There were a lot of things that flipped a little bit in our direction, but I don't know if it was the emotion so much as we started the game so well that I think we relaxed a little bit and just thought, okay, we won our last game at home pretty handily. Here we go. We're just going to win again at home pretty handily, but it doesn't work that way. Eastern Michigan's trying to win. They were playing for a lot. They've been playing very well. And, they have some guys that the first time we played them did not play great against us. Sometimes we have a lot to do with that, and sometimes they have something to do with it. They didn't play well. So they're coming out here to prove, hey, we're better than how we played that first time. And I think they did. Christian Henry in particular, he's a really good player. And, he played well against us tonight. Jalen Terry's a good player. He didn't play great tonight, but he's a good player. Deshaun Nelson's a good player. These guys are good players. So I thought that contributed more than the emotion, so to speak. If we started out flat, I might have felt differently.
Coach, I know you just talked a lot about tonight's game, but you match up against Western. Your first thoughts about matching up with them for the third time?
Yeah, I mean, we just played them, and it was a heck of a game. So our guys will know, we better be on point. This is going to be a really, really difficult game. Western just won on the road against Bowling Green to get in the tournament. Their only loss, in the last X number of games, basically, I think, is us. It's going to be a dogfight. And one of the reasons we won was we did a great job on the glass. They're a really good rebounding team. So we better be ready to go on the glass, because that's one of the things they did. They've done really well all year, and that was an area that we sort of dominated this last game. So they're going to be working on rebounding. So that means we better bring it even more. There's some areas that we need to shore up, because they are a very, very good team. The one positive I would say is that because of how that last game went, there's going to be no, I'm not going to be worried about our guys not knowing just how good they are. It's going to be, we're going to have to play really, really well on Thursday to win that game. I mean, really well. They have an unbelievable point guard. Their forward is a real tough matchup for us. They have some good wings, and they are a very, very good team. And again, their overall record is not great, but you have to understand their point guard did not play the first 9, 10 games of the year, whatever that may be, maybe 11 games of the year. You have to look at it. I'm not exactly sure. Since he has played, they are a good team, and they came into our gym and beat us handily beat us. And it was a dogfight in their gym just a few days ago. So, we're playing well, but so are they. And they earned their way in this deal by winning on the road against Bowling Green, who, again, was playing great. So we're going to be on point. We'll be ready. I know that, but we're going to have to not just be ready. We're going to have to be ready and play well. But that's great. That's the conference tournament. So everybody who's up there is going to be excited to play and ready to play, and we're going to have to go out there and play well.
Last question for you, Coach. How encouraging was it to see your team with their backs against the wall tonight, down 14, to punch back and then end up with a 6-point victory?
Yeah, I thought that was, again, I think as you're heading into this week coming up, I'd have to look, but I can't remember a second half down double digits midway through the second half that we've come back and won a game. I might be wrong, but I can't remember that this year. We've had a number of these games late where, Ohio at home, we're down at the last media timeout. A number of these games, Western Michigan, back and forth, I think we were down at the last media timeout. We won. So there have been a number of games late that we've won down last media timeout. But we have not had a game this year that I can remember down midway through the second half, down double figures, that we found a way to come back and win. So to be able to do that, I think helps us, because you just don't know what's going to happen up there. You're going to get in situations, or you can get in situations, I don't want to say you're going to, you can get in situations like this, and to be able to look back at this experience helps you. Just like playing Auburn helps you, playing Alabama, all those games help you when you get up to Cleveland, because you've been through all of it. And now I can sit here, and our players can sit here, if, and let's hope we're not, but if we're down 14 because we've had a tough, run. Well, we've dug ourselves out of worse holes. If we're down 9 at the 8-minute mark, we've dug ourselves out of worse holes. You just got to get stops. You got to stick with it, and then somebody's got to make some plays. We got to make some plays. So, that's I think there couldn't be a better way for us to go into it than winning in this fashion.
Can you talk about keeping your composure in this type of game as a coach? I feel like, you make it look easy. Does year after year get any easier, or?
No.
No.
No. It does not get easier. It gets harder.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's harder. Now, I may keep my composure, but that's the one thing I tell, I have a sports supervisor that I talk with almost every day, and I wish her the best, because she just had a medical procedure today, so I'm wishing her the best. But sometimes I think the success that our programs had here, and it's great to have high expectations, which we should have, and it's awesome that we have them, but sometimes I feel like it gets taken for granted. 21 wins is hard to do. There's 4 teams, a third of our conference doesn't go to Cleveland. They don't get to play in the conference tournament. Those teams practice, we've had 86 practices. They practice 86 times, just like we do. They have a roster of 12 scholarship players, just like I do. They have a nice arena. Some of them may have a nicer one, for all I know. I don't know who's in, who's not, but everybody's trying for the same thing. With all due respect, none of us are, Kentucky and Kansas. None of us are blue bloods, right? So when we have success like we've had, we're 11-7, 21-10. Shoot, man, we need to celebrate these guys that are here. The program, not me, the program, the players, the fact that they all want to be here, the fact that Vaughn is here for 5 years, the fact that Jalen came back, Cli'Ron chose not to leave. These guys would have multiple options. The fact that Marquise wanted to be here in his last year of college, dang, man. I say it often, getting 21 wins, and again, we've done it for a while, and not every year, but we've done it often enough to where I do understand there's an expectation, but boy, I hope there's also an equal appreciation as there is an expectation, if that makes sense, because it sure isn't easy. And I may keep my composure on the sideline, and the game part's the game, but to win as much as these guys have won, and at some point I was sitting here, I don't know what we were when we lost at home to Akron, but like, we didn't look like a team we looked like a bad team at that time. Like, we had lost at home to Miami, Akron, Ball State, and Western to start the league. We had lost 4 straight home games. The fact that these guys, along with the rest of them, Sion and Jamal and Rico and Mag and Donovan and all those guys, the fact that that locker room rallied around each other and figured it out to come from 4 straight home losses to start conference play after one of our best players, if not our best player, but one of them for sure, Morgan Safford, gets hurt and is out for the season. The fact that those guys rally around each other and figure it out. We couldn't score. Like, we couldn't make a basket. The fact that they rallied around and figured out how to win and how to compete and how to win close games, which we've won a ton of late. I think we're 8-2 in our last 10 games going into Cleveland. Shoot, man. Like, and again, I'm the coach, so if you want to say, oh, coach, you did a great job, okay, I'll take that, just like I got to take the losses, so I'll take that, but I don't deserve the credit. The players deserve the credit. Just like, again, I take the losses when we lose, and I deserve the blame when we lose, but the players deserve the credit when we win, because they're the ones that play, you know, so, and they're the ones in the locker room that decide, like, hey, I got to make changes, or I gotta listen a little bit more, or adjust my game a little bit more, whatever that might be. You know, I'm not changing my message. They're changing what they need to change, and that doesn't happen everywhere. So, you know, again, it's a long answer, but I certainly appreciate that the group was incredibly coachable and has been incredibly coachable and has allowed us to position ourselves to be up in Cleveland with the 3 seed playing well. And I say that, and everyone is 0-0. And I'm telling you, Western Michigan thinks they can win these next 3 games, just like Kent State does. And we're going to have to play really, really well on Thursday to beat Western Michigan. And if we are fortunate to do that, we'll have to do the same thing Friday against whoever we play in that one. But I'm proud of these guys, without question. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. And look forward to seeing you next week.